In this video, I want to have a look at something called standard deviation. So standard deviation is another measure of spread. So we've already had a look at the range and the interquartile range. So we started off with the range, but it had a lot of problems. The range only took into account the highest value and the lowest value, and it also was really easily affected by outliers. So then we started having a look at the interquartile range, which wasn't affected by outliers, so that was an improvement, but it still only took into account two values. It took the third quartile and the first quartile. So what we're going to have a look at now is the standard deviation, and it's an improvement again because it actually looks at each and every piece of data. So it takes every single score into account, and it measures how spread out each of those scores are from the mean. So we're looking at how spread out the data is from the mean. The symbol for standard deviation is a lowercase Greek letter sigma, which looks like a little O with a flick on the top. What the standard deviation tells us, because we're talking about how spread out the scores are from the mean, if we've got a small standard deviation, that means that the scores are closer to the mean, and it means we can say that the scores are fairly consistent. If we've got a large standard deviation, that means that the scores are really spread out from the mean, and it means they're less consistent. So when we're calculating standard deviation, we're going to use the statistics mode on our calculators. So if we have a look at an example, our first one here says calculate correct two decimal places the standard deviation for the maximum temperature in Campbelltown for 2 weeks in January. So we're going to take our calculator, we're going to put it in statistics mode. So we're going to press mode and then 2 to get statistics. We're going to press 1, but we want, for this one, sorry, because each of the scores are separate, we don't need the frequency column, so we can just go with this, and we're going to enter in our numbers. So 45, because it's a 0.0, I don't have to put that on there. Hit equals, and we can go through and put all of those numbers in. So once we have all of our scores in there, we're going to press the AC button to get out of there. So all that data is still stored in the memory. Then we want to go into our statistics menu, which is up here. So we're going to press Shift 1 to get in there. We're going to press 4. And then we want this symbol here, which has that little sigma X. So we're going to press 3 and equals. And that's going to tell us that our standard deviation to one decimal place is 5.8. Oh, sorry, it wanted it to two decimal places. So let's write that as 5.75. Okay, so now we're going to enter our second set of data. Now, because we have our scores and a frequency column, we want our frequency column on here as well. So we're going to press Shift mode. We're going to go down and press 3 for stat. And we want the frequency on, so we're going to press 1. So then we can press mode, stat, 1. And this time we've got our frequency column because we've just turned that on. So our first score is 2, and it's got a frequency of 2. Our second score is 3. I'm actually going to enter all my scores in first and then go and put all the frequencies in. So 3. Now if I go back up to the top of my frequencies, I've got 2, 1, that one should be a 3, 3, 2, 5, 6, 4, 2. Right, so you can go back and double check that you've got all your data correct as well if you weren't sure. Once you're happy, you hit the AC button again, and then it's the same process. So we're going to press Shift 1 to get into that statistics mode, statistics menu. Press 4 and then 3 equals, and we've got to two decimal places 2.26 for our standard deviation. Right, so that's having a look at what the standard deviation is and how we can use our calculators to find it.